Okay, hello everybody and welcome to the Intuitive Seeing Survival Sessions here. We're at La Mission at the cafe in the guest room or the activity room, public room. We host an in-person class and we'll be doing the live answering questions. So if you have any questions, please post them there. And thank you to all our viewers. I'm Jeremy, this is Kevin, and Valdez here with me.
Thank you, Jeremy. Yes, my name is Val and I'm with the new presentation, which is related to what we're doing here with the Intuitive Survival Sessions. And I'm going to share a story first just to introduce what we're doing here today. And we're talking about intuition, basically. So I was curious about this many, many years ago when I was doing Tai Chi. So I'm very physical, so one of the things I used to do was to put, at that time, my heart's desire into the movement. So whatever movement I was doing in Tai Chi, whether it was like rowing, or the form itself, the different forms that you see, the animal forms in Tai Chi, I would put my intent or heart's desire into that movement. And then I would listen, afterwards I would listen. And then after a while I could see that there's a response, actually, in some form, which was my intuition to direct me or tell me something or somehow demonstrate something. So I established this relationship with this invisible, whatever it was out there, because I knew something was out there. Something was out there because I heard it. People were talking about things like God or spirit. So I thought something must be out there listening or watching me. So this is the way initially, many, many years ago, I connected with this thing called my intuition. And from then on, I've been listening to it and I try to act on it immediately or very quickly because it fades. This intuition is so subtle that it fades quickly, just like when you wake up from a dream, sometimes you forget it. So I attempt to activate what I'm being shown rather quickly, and it works out. I mean, it does usually make sense. I mean, sometimes it's a little like, I would have never thought of this myself, but since I've been shown this, I act on it. I decide to act on it. And it usually works out. Whether it's a success or not, but at least it's an experience, and I'm doing to relate to this invisible whatever out there. And that's how I came here today, because I've been led here through many, many experiences, through my intuition to just have a better life and to share with others, and so see if we can better this planet and better ourselves and become more aware. So I'll give it to Kevin now. He can introduce himself.
Okay, well, I came to find the new presentation in 2017 or thereabouts, in the late winter of, around November time. A little like Val, I suppose, where I always was, I suppose my motivations would be categorised as that of the seeker, where I was always searching for something, but never quite attaining it. And so, at the earliest age, I was always involving myself in what we would consider and reference as quote-unquote spiritual ideas. Because everything in creation is effectively an idea that as we latch onto and agree with, we become the effect of. And so really, nothing is negated in creation, as Dwayne always says. We simply experience what we will, and then ultimately, all that we experience and we collate as references, we then use as comparisons to recognise the true reality by. But from the earliest age, I mean, I was involved in all sorts of meditation style practices, spiritual type, quote-unquote, pursuits. Generally, my motivation was to get beyond what I construe what I considered a very limited position, which the physical level really is the densest life level of a creation. And always I knew there was far more than just the position that I found myself in, and so really I would consider myself an explorer as well as a seeker. So I'd put those two references together and bundle them up, and so eventually this would lead to my determining lots of methods by which I could access the other dimensions of life. For as I said, we're in the physical, this is the densest life level. We live in a multi-dimensional, computer-like simulated creation, and so through various practices, including lucid dreaming and astral projection, would I begin to delve and investigate some of these other dimensional positions. And every time I would come across a particular concept, a particular created idea, or a pursuit, or some sort of path or other, or however you would like to categorise it as, I would always feel, yes, this is the ultimate, I've finally found what I was looking for. But then I would always have a sort of nagging feeling that there was something else, something more that I wasn't seeing and being aware of, and this would then have me searching again. And always I would find what would be as though the next step in a process, and once again, finding that next step, I would consider that to be the final and ultimate position, and that is what I was seeking all along. But continuously were these nagging feelings that there was more, and every time I had the nagging feeling, so I would investigate, and always would the next step manifest in my reality in some shape or form. I would perhaps find a website, or some individual would come into my experience with information regarding what would then become my next step. And ultimately I would come to find the new presentation in 2017 and become involved with Dwayne and the new friends, and the dawning realisation of the real awareness, isness, intuitive aspect of ourselves that we all are, that which animates through all the creational mechanics and is therefore the oversight of everything that is occurring in creation, and therefore from that position is everything in creation, all the ideas of all consciousness made available. And so really then it is the ultimate survival tool, because not only will that which is in the consciousness be of benefit to your current lifetime, but also you can access that which is coming down the pipeline, so to speak. You can also become aware of that which is impacting you from the other dimensions of life, and even that which is still impacting you as ideas and agreements and attachments you have formulated from previous lifetimes, because the entirety of the consciousness will be held to from the moment of its construct to the present moment. So every lifetime we ever have had, all that we have experienced are filed in it like one gigantic computer, and until we consciously decide to face and release it, we are the constant effects of everything that it contains. That although each lifetime around we have a new body vehicle, and effectively as though a new computer, everything we have previously experienced is though filed in as though, as an analogy, the backup system, which is the subconscious. But just because it is now subconsciously placed, it doesn't mean it is any less impacting and affecting us as the conscious agreements and attachments we hold to. And so, as I said, when you face and release the entirety of the consciousness, no longer will you be in a position where you are the unconscious effects of your consciousness, and as you stand completely aside from your consciousness construct, and you're now operating from your intuitive real awareness isness position, you are now positioned such that you can consciously decide what you want to experience, as opposed to being impacted by all these unseen variables and ideas that from the personal self-physical position you are oblivious of as to their presence. And so, yes, and so I would just say that, I think.
That's good.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kevin. And it seems like we have a little comment here on the computer. I'm going to take a look here.
Then I can read it if you'd like.
Sure, please.
Yeah. Okay, this is from a viewer. I had a dream last night that the house was filled with toxic smoke. I could smell it in my dreams, and when I woke up, I could still smell it. Does that signify anything to you? It was so weird. It was somewhere between 2 and 4 p.m. last night. In my dream, I also felt myself losing oxygen and started passing out.
Okay. So we have an individual within their home that is filling with smoke. They feel the oxygen going and they can still smell it in the physical once they get up. So, would anyone like to share their view? I have a view to share, but would anyone like to go? Sure, I'll start. The view that I would like to share about this experience for the individual in question is that, the smoke in the house, it prompts the individual to get out of themselves. See, that's a lot of the things that we talk about here in this intuitive seeing survival session, is getting out of this personal consciousness routine, everything that we go through the day-to-day, the things that we do not consider until they show up. Much like the air that we breathe, we do not consider it. And so when there's something in the air, see, it's never the air itself, it's something that is in the air. So like the smoke that's in the air, right? That's causing a disturbance with the personal self. This is why it takes place within inside the home, because that represents the personal self-consciousness. When these disturbances take place, it interrupts our routine, whatever we have taking place, and so on. And so usually, again, the idea is when a house fills with smoke, we usually get out of the house, right? We're getting out of ourselves. And once we get out of ourselves, we can see something else. We can see the sky, we can see the sun shining, we see the birds, we see something else going on rather than just the walls of our consciousness as we've created and decorated them with whatever ideas and things that we've fashioned them with as we've come through this lifetime. So this is a view.
Okay, and as I said earlier, the intuitive faculty, one of our 5 body vehicles, as the oversight of everything occurring creationally and all through the consciousness, as I said, it does provide a very apt survival tool. And because many times when I have real side experiences, and I will find that generally there is much by way of disruption, interference, attacks, and all sorts of dastardly activities going on by various body forms. Because all body forms in creation will have their personal self-attitudes and agendas and intents and inclinations. Not all of them will be necessarily very savoury according to the individual and what they decide. And in actuality, everything that occurs to us begins on the real side, on the other dimensions of life. The moment an idea is conceptualized, an agreement is formulated, and in relation to other beings and body types, it will initially be so on the real side, because everything is its effects instantly in actuality, but will take the moments that it will to filter through to the physical. And when it comes to real side or other dimensional or dream, what is referred to as dreams generally, symbology, the house tends to represent the consciousness, and this would be that which we have constructed, which then, according to the idea agreements it comprises of, then effected from it is a body form in which we then can experience its construct, the simulation, the experiences and lifetimes that express from how we have constructed the consciousness. And so, on the real side, when we have our real side experiences, the real side up is the portal to the intuitive self, and so the intuition is constantly showing what is taking place, and in regards to survival, it will be showing us that which is impacting us from the other dimensions of life. Make that good one. And so oftentimes we will find in our real side experiences or dreams, however you want to reference them as, that there will be certain individuals or situations occurring within our houses, and these, according to what's taking place and where they are taking place in the house, can indicate the nature of the intent behind them. And for example, generally the house will be divided into two parts, and the upper part will represent the other dimensional aspects of ourselves and dimensional positions, and the ground floor will represent more the physical level, personal consciousness arena. And so, as the symbology goes, as the idea agreements, the potential possible attacks and so forth that take place on the other dimensions, the unseen levels of life, so they will initially take place on the top floor, then filter down to the physical level. For although all idea agreements are the instant effects of themselves, they will only become a physical level manifested if maintained long enough. And so very often we can have all manner of aches and pains and ailments that are as from agreements and attachments that are operating on the real side, that are facilitating the ability of others to attack us. And the attacks can take many shapes and forms. They may not always be apparent to the personal self, but again, this is where the intuitive self kicks in, where you can determine and ascertain more readily exactly what it is that is occurring, whereas the personal self alone, if you were just operating from the emotional, mental facilities of the body vehicles, so you would only be able to literally interpret what is taking place. And so, on many occasions, have I had beings and body types and all manner of manifestations appear on the upper floor or even on the lower floor and carry out their mischief as agreements would allow that they can. And as I said, if what is taking place is on the ground floor, then this will impact the individual on the physical level. And so what may possibly be on literally just appear to be smoke could perhaps indeed be representing an attack of some form, just taking that particular shape. Because indeed, on a few real side experiences have I seen, and many others have also, beings and body types that literally are in smoke-like forms. That is actually the essence and nature of their body form as affected from their consciousness, and yet they are no less impacting potentially than any other body form. And indeed, so can the influence, which is represents the consciousness, be also present as an ominous black cloud. And so, in regards to an experience in which an individual would be in the presence of an ominous black choking smoke, this could indeed be construed as some attack, and so their intuitive self is allowing that they are aware of this by showing this taking place in their consciousness representing house. And also, as the individual said, they would be the recipient of a choking reaction in accordance, and so very apparent is it that the agreement which is facilitating this attack is now impacting on the physical in that way and impacting the physical level body. And so, as I said, the real side and the intuitive faculty, the intuitive body, that which we all are, that has this oversight of everything creational, will apprise us of all these situations so that we can be made aware of them. And so I can add that. I will add that. Yes.
Thank you, Kevin. And I would like to add something too for this individual who had this experience, and that is that it's a hint, it's a suggestion to try singing the new you. Now, if you have the wherewithal to do this in the dream, it's to your benefit, or you can do it before bed or after you wake up. But this sound connects or relates to your real awareness, and that is your real survival, because your awareness is just a view, and these other things that happen to us are about agreement in creation. So we're just kind of agreeing to certain things that are attractive to us, but as our real self, we're just a view, and that's our real self, and that's basically, it's just neutral. It's just a viewpoint in the whole of life. But we take on agreements in creation that get us into a lot of trouble sometimes, but they can also be a benefit, and that's why we're here in creation, to have experiences. So this new you is a secret word that anybody can use to get yourself out of a jam, or now it's not hocus pocus or anything like that, but it is a way to at least give you the opportunity to recognize your real self. It's a relationship to your real self. And again, it goes like, new you, 5-10 minutes before bed, after you wake up, or even in the experience, and see what happens, because it'll draw in good vibes, it'll draw in more awareness of what's really going on. You'll see what's really going on. You'll give it an expanded viewpoint, more or less, rather than trying to fight it. Or now you can be creative, like Kevin here has a lot of experiences with assailants, demons, reptilians, lizard people. So he's very creative in the real side. But if you just focus on the new you, and then from there you can expand outward into being creative or whatever. But that new you will give you the focus, and that's really important, because we get a lot of distractions here in the physical here. To lose our focus, we get carried away by so many things. Anything could be a distraction to, and they're not for our benefit either. So we're giving you the opportunity to establish references that are a benefit to you, so that you can wake up to more of a survival situation here, because life is about survival and waking up. And it's not really about belief, faith, hope, that sort of thing, although we're led to believe that, but it's more about waking up to what already is, because everything is perfect already, although we don't see that. But life is already what it is. It's nothing more. And people try to add things to it, but it's already what it is. And you can help life, you can help yourself by waking up. And new you is one of the ways that can facilitate this.
Thank you, Val. And thank you to that individual for sharing this experience with us, giving us something to go over. Thank you again. I would like to touch upon something that you said as well, and that was about the agreements that we make in creation, and they're not always the benefit there. And being the objective view is very important, and it takes a lot of practice, a lot of rehearsal, something that takes lifetimes, could take lifetimes, but with the New You song, this facilitates more so a position where you can become more aware. It's a streamlining, you may say. And that, again, that being the objective view is it takes a lot of practice. We relate so much to these emotions, to the ideas that are created from a day-to-day that become part of our routine. We say things like, well, I'm angry, I'm sad, I'm having this, or this and that we relate, and it goes back to this age-old idea of I am, right? I think, therefore I am. But really, it's you have to practice being objective and saying because it is a creation, and that real awareness view is aside from creation. So it's the situations, the emotions, the father, the mother, not my father, my mother, the father, and the mother. These little things can help you put yourself in a more intuitive position rather than mentally relating to things, literally relating to things as they are in the world, right? Because this is how we have been raised. This is how we have been rehearsed. And so it takes a lot of effort to sort of retrain ourselves and regroup. I thought that was very important to go over for the intuitive course here, that this subjective view of not that I am these things that take place, that, sort of like we claim them, we become them, we are the deciders. See, in this references the last session we had, to where we really emphasize on that we are the deciders of our experience. And that's very important to rehearse ourselves with that, recognizing that everything that has come to effect in our experience, whether it be on earth, in our real side experiences, in our dreams, with our emotions, with our health, that we have decided that for ourselves through some cause and effect choice, right? It was all a choice, it's all a decision, even to come here to the earth. Seeing people forget that. So again, these things that we own, that we claim, these ideas that we relate to, or that we're the good person, right? Or there are the bad people, or they're bad people, right? There's the effects, there's the duality in creation, there's the agitation is what it is. It's not that, I am this or they are that. It's the agitation that's all around us in creation. So just a little view there.
Good stuff.
We were talking about coming into this life and with maybe a handicap, and it's not always necessarily the karmic thing going on. The decision, like Jeremy was talking about, can be also part of this experience if you come in with a handicap, because that in itself helps you to become more, more aggravation, the more awareness opportunities in a way. It may be a hard lifetime, but it's a way to, fast lane opportunity to wake up more than if you're comfortable and you have the safety and security of being rich or wealthy or position of importance, etc. Sometimes these things are a hindrance rather than a benefit. So coming into this life with even more aggravation can be a benefit, although hard. But that's, again, your decision. Along with, if you don't understand the karmic situation, the more you decide, the more understanding or more awareness you have, the less karmic you have to get into. Because karma is just an idea, really, in creation. It's a cause and effect, which is very prominent here, the basic prominence here, but again, there's the agreement situation where you can agree to something more so than just being cause and effect to situations. You can wake up to more of who you are, which is, again, you're just in a viewpoint, and you don't have to be caught up in these experiences that cause to be what we call tap-lined, I'll bring that in, or being effect. So the more aware you are, the more cause you could say you are, the more survival position you're in.
Intuitive Seeing Survival Sessions at Puerte Valle Community Room in La Mission to get in touch with your intuition. The so-called mysteries of a person's dreams have always intrigued many who are unaware of what is actually taking place while a person's physical body is sleeping. The dream idea was invented, just like conspiracy theory, by those who control others, as a means to keep unaware people and other body types away from knowing their so-called dreams actually refer to another dimension, a portal, an opening, to start to wake up to more than just struggling and suffering as slaves in creation. If you want to access your intuitive ability, then participate in our monthly event at Puerte Valle Community Room in La Mission. Contact Val Vitols at 408-990-6627. 408-990-6627.